To the patrons, hitting record. Feel free to clap.
Musings of the Rogaine.
You are live.
What's up?
With who?
Doesn't matter.
Wow.
To anyone besides me, I'm the best person here. I doing the best at this.
Doing the best at these. We should get him on. Maybe we do Yankees.
How many times have I asked?
And I hope he's never seen a Yankees game.
It's better off.
Better off alone.
Okay, are we ready?
Talk to me.
We are ready.
Is this working? Yep. Okay. What's the dumb date today? 24th.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Rolling. Good to go. Today is September 24th. The Yankees lose the series in Buffalo to the Toronto Blue Jays. They do not look great right now. Let's talk Yanks. Let's talk all about the Yanks. Should we do the music?
Talking Yanks with old JOMBOY.
Faint music.
Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, steaming hot takes. Your Yankees news with these two
So faint.
for Talking Yanks. Talking Yanks with old JOMBOY. JOMBOY and Jake. Talking Yanks with old JOMBOY. JOMBOY and Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks. Thank you very much for clicking play. Hanging out with us a little bit today as we recap this 4-game set versus the Toronto Blue Jays. My name's Jimmy. I'm coming to you from the Roosevelt Studios Mid-Atlantic headquarters in Lavallette, New Jersey. I got new haircut Jake. He's coming to you from Roosevelt Studios South in Manhattan. And then we've got producer Bug Dude coming to you from Roosevelt Studios Northwest, kind of. He's wearing a Roosevelt shirt. Jake's wearing an I Love Baseball shirt. How are you doing, Jake?
What a shirt are you wearing?
Nothing.
That's a lie, and I'm sorry for everyone that we have to start
John Boy
there.
and Jake Radio hoodie. I don't know the shirt.
Roosevelt also called me. They wanted me to rename my apartment just Roosevelt's HQ.
Not allowed.
And which is pretty cool, but they actually took it literally, and they're holding some meetings here and stuff tomorrow, which is going to be a little problematic. But
speaking of, I'm having a gummy. I'm hoping it kicks in before the episode ends.
Yeah, no, that's part of the goal. Yeah, I don't think I'm feeling it as bad as you. It obviously stinks. I mean, they're not playing with a lot of gumption. It's just all for the playoffs, and I'm with you. I mean, it sucks, and it's not a proven strategy to try to just turn it on and play for the playoffs, but they're clearly doing that. I mean, Aroldis Chapman walking off a mound in Buffalo, New York, smiling down 3 runs because he had a nice strikeout.
Well,
like, I mean,
he doesn't throw.
Right. But still, I mean, if you showed that to any New Yorker, from the years 2000s on, they'd be like, they'd throw up on themselves. Like, oh, how could you possibly be happy and celebrating this? But it's all built for the playoffs. And I don't know. I'm still hoping for a couple romantic nights in October, hoping for some good baseball too. But yeah, right now it's tough to get fully excited about.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like I'm like angry with them. Like
I know.
it's annoying how they act. They're very good. All the talent. They're just like, we saw a bad team this weekend. The Blue Jays aren't great. We saw a bad team. Yankees just straight up bad. So super frustrating, man. Super frustrating that Voit hobbles around, plays every single day. DJ plays every single day. Clint plays every single day. Glaber needs rest. Gio needs rest, but he also doesn't need rest because he comes off the IL and plays like 5 games in a row. And then Judge and Stanton, they have 10 days to get ready. Judge scored from first. Judge is playing a hard right field. Just sit him. Like, he needs so many at-bats. He has a 10-game window to get ready for the playoffs. Same with Stan. And they both don't look right. So get them as many at-bats. And then to pinch hit Judge halfway through this game after sitting him, what's the message there? Why tell the media that Gary Sanchez isn't the starting catcher anymore and he lost his job for the first time since he took over the role in 2016? Like, that's a huge news for Gary to hear his manager say he's not the starting catcher anymore. It's like big news for him personally. Like, obviously, a lot of us can see that coming, and a lot of fans are like, well, obviously, he's played like shit. But think of it. Gary is hearing his manager tell the media he's not the starting catcher for the first time since he broke into the bigs. But then you pinch hit him in the biggest moment of the game. So, like, what the hell is the message there? They just literally think they can flip switches. They think that they have so many analytics and matchups and lineup cheat codes. And yeah, Voit will be in the 2-hole, but it'll be in the 4-hole here. But then Stan has to be in the 4-hole, but then Hicks has to be in the 3-hole, but then it'll be in the 6-hole. They just think they have all these magic buttons everywhere and that they're always going to hit the right ones. And they're just so focused on all the buttons, they don't realize that, like, just hitting go is better. Just
turn the machine on. Let it work a little bit. Yeah, I mean, again, not wrong. I think you're right, and the emotions you're feeling, like, I'm saving those for October because, hey, if things do click and turn on, then they handled things the right way technically. But right now, it doesn't feel good, and I'm with you on, if you're gonna pinch hit Judge and get him 2 at bats in the middle of the game, just start him against Ryu, who he hit the homer against last year, instead of Brett Gardner. Like what are you actually doing there, Yankees? So yeah, I mean, that stuff is completely frustrating. And yeah, I think the Gary thing, I mean, if we want to do it now, I just think the Yankees realized kind of some of the stuff we've been talking about. Higgy's caught a lot of good baseball games, and Higgy swung the stick pretty decently. So I think the Yankees realized that, hey, Higgy is going to officially start game 1 with Cole. Like, that just snapped in their head, which, it snapped in everyone else's head before that. But I think they also said, hey, like, if Higgy hits and gives us good at bats in game 1, we might play him game 2 as well, because he's been catching really well with almost every pitcher. And Gary's bat hasn't been impactful enough. So that's why Booney comes out with catcher's going to be a day-by-day thing. But, Gary Sanchez is still Gary Sanchez. That's why you saw him pinch hit there, and that's what you're going to see come in the playoff times. I mean, Higgy is going to catch that first game. We all know that. And if he hits in the first game, I think Boone was just leaving the door open, saying that if he does hit, we'll probably roll him over, and we will play the hot hand. If he doesn't, we'll go back to Gary Sanchez because he does have a lot of notches under the belt. So, yeah, I mean, big news, but also expected news.
Yeah, but just saying, like, confidence-wise for Gary. And then to tap him into the big pinch hit. Just like, what's the message there? That's the whole thing. The message that they send to their players is confusing. They just need to go.
I think the catcher one is there, and it's a situation, and it's kind of separate from everything else. Everything else is kind of Yankees junk we've seen with this new crew the past couple years with hitting the switches and rest guys and all that. The catcher situation is new with the Higgy development with Cole. and how that potentially plays out in a 3-game series. And the Gary stuff, man, I mean, I think, I guess the comparison I would use is like a basketball team. Like, when a basketball team practices, like, you kind of know who the dudes are and who the guys are. But, sometimes a guy kicks into gear and gets hot or plays well and you play them. Like, all the Yankees know. And I think Kyle Higashioka would be the first to tell you, like, Gary Sanchez is a better hitter than him. So if there's a situation where they need a hitting catcher, they're going to go to Gary Sanchez. But I just think with the recent Cole developments and Higgy catching a lot of the guys really well, they wanted to open that door, and here we are.
Yeah. Well, whatever. They're just indecisive. Either you make this move 2 weeks ago and you get Higgy regular playing time, or you don't. And Boone answering the question saying we're a long way away. We're 4 games away, Boone. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He said there's a lot of time before the playoffs to figure this out. What? Like, quite honestly, just wrong. Just like a huge wrong.
Right. Inaccurate.
Wrong. So, whatever. You want to get to the burns and start doing, I forget, we got 4 games to burn. Oh, man, this is going to suck. Not your burns, Jake.
Yeah, kind of. There's not much you can do with these games.
All even the games the Yankees won in this series were kind of like duds.
So, I mean, 3 of the games were decided by 10+ runs. Like, that's not.
All right. Well, let's see what you got.
God's plan.
On your mark. Get set. Burn, Jakey, burn.
4-game set in beautiful upstate New York. Scenic. Royalty versus the common man, as it's King versus Shoemaker in game 1. The most happy fella. Gio Urshela RBI single. Yanks are up 1-0. Only problem would be Toronto would score the next 10. Yankees killers Grichuk and Guerrero do some damage, along with the new short king Captain Kirk, as the rookie has a 4-hit day. A bases clearing double by Mikey T late makes it look closer than it was. King and Loizaga really get knocked around, but Nelson and Chad give up earned runs too. It is ugly. Yanks lose game 1, 11-5 final.
Stop playing. Yeah, 11-5. Bad.
Yeah, and this was the Mike King start to try to push out our pitching staff further. He just does Mike King. He looks okay for the first inning and a half, and then he gets knocked around. Loizaga gets roughed up, which, we've been trying to put him in the positive column for a while, and this kind of takes away any goodwill he built up. And, the start of this offense not looking like the Yankees, really. 2 errors in this game. I mean, and they pushed 3 across in the 9th that were useless, but otherwise, they just had nothing in this game.
And again, King looked good for what? 1 time through?
It's like 6 batters.
Yeah, it looks like 1 time through. And then Bichette started getting him.
Right.
Alejandro Kirk, complete butthead.
Go.
Does anything in this game matter towards the playoffs? Lasagna, bad. That's not good.
Lasagna, bad.
This was a bunch of the players, like I said in my post-game recap, this is a bunch of the pitchers, King, Lasagna, Nelson. If the Yankees are going to make a deep run, which I very think is highly unlikely, one of those pitchers has to be part of the DS or the CS. They just don't have, they need to have some blowout wins, and these guys need to eat innings to save the really good bullpen. The 4 bullpen arms. So they all kind of are failing the audition.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, if you get into the 7-game set, maybe, and there are some arms out there, and we'll see what happens with the Clark Schmidt thing. Sounds like he's getting the pill Sunday in an audition role. But also, Garrett Cole can reset a day and get you through some things. But no, I mean,
I don't
you
think he's
can't
going like
put
complete game though.
no, but I mean, 7 innings that gets you to Britton Chapman.
Right, but they can't pitch every game. Like they can't pitch.
Right.
So you need games where none of Britton, Chapman, Otto, Chad pitch.
Right.
So you need like a good performance from a starting pitcher, get you to through the 7th would be fantastic. I don't see that besides Garrett.
Yeah, but again, you're still missing a tier before we get to those guys. I mean, Holder, Sessa, potentially Clark or someone like that.
Do you really still have hope for Clark?
Yeah, man, he's getting kind of an audition Sunday, and I think if he looks good, he could potentially leapfrog a few of the guys you just named if there's room for them on the roster.
Yeah, that seems a bit crazy to me because, like, why wouldn't they have been giving him a look this whole time then?
One guy told me this Yankees team thinks they can just hit buttons and make things happen.
Sure, I agree that they may do that, but you think like it can be a good strategy?
I've never said that. I said I don't like the button pressing either, but it's just what they do. So it wouldn't surprise me if they do something like that with Schmidt.
But I'm saying it's also nerve-wracking then. Like this tier of pitching is nerve-wracking.
It's how they operate. So I kind of don't let that affect me. I mean, this is the same thing they've fed us for a couple years now, and it stinks. It's not ideal. It doesn't feel like the core of baseball that go out and win every day and, have that winning mentality that if you do get beat up, well, we're back at it the next day, put me in there, Skip. They don't have that feel. They don't believe in that, which sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sessa gets beat up later in this, and I don't even think Holder pitched. So, and Holder got beat up his last 2 outings. So I'm saying this role is needed to make a deep run, and everyone in their last audition has been bad. It's going into this.
I was saying King Nelson, there's still a tier before you get to those guys, is what I was saying.
But those guys have been bad as well.
Right.
Okay. That's all I was saying.
Yeah.
We don't have a sub bullpen right now. Anything offensively or strategy wise here that was weird? They just got blown out.
No, there was nothing. I mean, no home runs, which was the theme of this series. They went down 10-1. So, that's game over.
Yeah. Shoemaker.
Talkman hit a fastball.
He did. That was cool.
Yeah. Same time.
Yeah. I mean, my dad texted me too. It's like the biggest. I mean, the guy hasn't hit a fastball all season. So
it's like crazy. It's wild to watch.
Yeah. All right. Game 2. On your mark. Get set. Burn, Jakey, burn.
How about Danny Tanner Rourke versus Yankees ace Garrett Cole, hoping to settle down a full house of grumpy Yankees fans? Aaron Hicks, 2 A's but 3 bags, RBI triple. Then he scores on a pass ball. It's 2-0 Yanks after 1 in the 4th. Geodude, smash, RBI single. Hey, Cavan is doing it Biggio with a solo dong in the 4th, but that's all the baby Jays would muster against Nat King Cole. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 7 Ks for Garrett as the engine is tuned up for the playoff road ahead. I know nothing about cars. The Yanks would run it up with 6 different RBI singles from the 5th inning on. Britton and Otto get some work for funsies. Yanks bounce back, win this one 12-1 final.
Tom Hatch. Great early
Your
sad rower name.
Your guy.
Tanner Roark. Garrett Cole's the main story here, with Britton and Ottavino looking good in blowout slop time for Ottavino, but still looked good. Garrett Cole looked really good. Easy. So that's something like I still like the Yankees' chance. It depends on who they play in the 3-game with. I still like Cole and Tanaka. Like I do think that's good. I have very little faith in a 5-game set. Do I think they have the skill to win? Absolutely. They have the skill to be one of the best teams in baseball. Easily. The lineup. They just can't put it together day in and day out. Like they can't bring it every day. And they're bad. Like you love the saying, how good you're good. We haven't seen they're good be that amazing yet. We're hoping that we see a level we haven't seen yet. How bad's they're bad? This team's bad as garbage. But
Oh, yeah.
I like Cole, and this is another good outing by him. This is a good offense. 7 innings pitched, only 5 hits, 1 earned run, got through it. So he's a bright
Yeah.
spot.
And what the Jays do have, you said at the end there, their lineup's legit. We even joke about Alejandro Kirk because he's as beautiful as a human can get. But like their lineup, especially with what he's doing right now, is, the real deal. Cool phrase, Jake. Sterling would like that one. Cole looks really good. Really, really good of late. And yeah, and that's where I was DMing with some Yankee fans. And, the mood around the Yankees is pretty ho-hum right now, like it should be, because they look meh. And someone, they said the phrase to me like, what's even different than last year? And it's like, well, Garrett Cole's the one big different thing. That we haven't had that guy. That's why we paid that guy a ton of money. And, in a game 1, as depending who the Yankees play, they're probably going to be the favorites because they have Garrett Cole on the mound, which is insane. So we do have that in the back pocket. Britton still looks good. Otto got an inning in this one where we thought he was on his way back. We'll circle up on that. And yeah, the Yankees lineup was putting the bat on the ball again. When you look at these Blue Jays pitchers, Roark to Hatch to Anderson to Font to Barucki, that's not the kind of competition you're going to be seeing in the playoffs. But they put it together for a day. It was kind of that the only part of this game I liked was, I think, Cole, the only part of this game I liked. Go eat 2 bugs, Jake.
Fair.
It was it the 7th or was it the 6th inning? The 6th inning. The Jays had a couple runners on. Cole's pitch count was starting to get up there, and he gets Bichette and Hernandez, I think, runners on 2nd and 3rd. Yeah. And, again, like you're not going to replicate playoff baseball. You can't really replicate playoff baseball in a 7-1 game in Buffalo. But, runners on 2nd and 3rd, 2 of the best hitters on the Blue Jays, Cole deep in his pitch count, and he went to work on him. So that is in the bright column.
Yeah, he's a gamer. He's a gamer. Higgy almost hit a home run. That was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Because he will be hitting. But, again, not the greatest pitchers, and the Yankees can destroy bad pitching. We know that.
Yes, sir.
We go to game 3?
I think so.
Here we go. This one sucks. On your mark. Get set. Burn, Jakey, burn.
Couple rays of sunshine as Robbie and the Bluebirds take on Tanaka-san. Tanaka Tuesday on a Wednesday in Buffalo. Ooh. Vladito and Teoscar the Grouch score on a hit and a Gary throwaway. Woof. Voit scores on a pass ball, so an eye for an eye. The whole world is blind. It's 2-1 Jays, and then holy smokes, TFA, things fall apart. the Jays would go on to score the next 12. We've got 4 errors by the Yankees. We make Danny Jansen look like Josh Gibson. Look him up, kids. Every Blue Jay scored a run, and every Yankees pitcher gave up a run. Not a good formula. Tanaka to Sessa to Lions to Kratz. Yanks lose 14-1 final.
I didn't realize that every Blue Jays scored a run, every Yankees pitcher gave up a run.
Not a good formula.
Kratz.
I doubt a team ever won doing that.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
If they have, we should know about it.
Yeah. Might ask KT.
Wonder if that's, I mean, maybe you take a team has won where every pitcher they throw has given up a run, obviously, because you can do a complete game,
Right.
one earned run and lose. So you need to have multiple, but do you think anyone's, I mean, it would have to be,
so it's like a minimum of 9 runs.
You have to win the game while your team gave up 9 runs.
And it's probably more because each player has to score. I doubt it's 1 run apiece.
I doubt it's happened, but I wouldn't be incredibly shocked if they were like back in a doubleheader in 1927.
I'll DM James Smythe at I'd say 12:45 and hope he's going to bed right before then, and then that just keeps him up all night.
Okay. All right, I like that. AJ Cole getting out of the jam. That sucked. Bases loaded, no outs. Dude, the Yankees are so uninspired. This was the death lineup. DJ, Judge, Stanton, Voit, Torres, Hicks, Gio, and Gary, Clint. And Robbie Ray gets through him, walking 4, giving him chances. And then AJ Cole gets out of the big jam. Again, these are not playoff pitchers.
They might be.
Ray's going to start, but they're not for the Blue Jays. But you know what I'm saying. They're not Maeda, Berrios, Giolito, Bieber, Plesac. This is not Glasnow, Morton, fucking Robbie Ray and AJ Cole versus the Yankees death lineup.
And hey, I know, this is only going to go so far, but AJ Cole is having a decent year for the Jays. He's been pretty nice for them. But yeah, and Robbie Ray is Robbie Ray. The strikeouts have always been there. Yanks do get, 7 guys on base. They go 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position after they've been really good at that the past couple weeks, and then they've been bad. And Jim, they've got the little kid team move where something bad happens and it's oh no, they almost look to Boone and Nevin and be like, hey, are we tapping out today? If you remember, I think was it the first RBI single or was it later in the game where it went off the dirt and it bounced over DJ? It should have just been a routine out.
Double play, ending double play for Tank.
And instead, a whole game story gets thrown off that way. So I don't know. It was one of the worst watches of the year. I mean, near unwatchable. I had this weird,
and it wasn't even the bad lineup we had 3 weeks ago.
No, because I mean, yes, the lineup didn't hit. They got some guys on base and stuff, but the baseball was horrible. I mean, they gave up 14.
4 errors.
4 errors, man.
Tanaka didn't have his stuff, but that bad hop and then the error later on that Glaber did. So there's some unearned runs, but even then, if Tank doesn't have that, he probably goes 5 point something with 2 or 3 earned run. Tank didn't have his stuff, but the fielding betrayed him. This is bad, man. Just bad.
You got to get 4 outs an inning. I mean, it's not a good formula. So,
on one play, they just did straight up couldn't play catch.
It was bizarre. Voit and Glaber back to back. And then Voit calls him the bad news bears after the game. Kaster loves it. But yeah, they I don't know, man. I mean, just God.
Kratz pitching once and throwing knuckleballs is fun. Kratz pitching twice is not fun.
Well, and again, it goes into this. We do end up seeing Chapman today, and he looks really good, which is something. But my Clark Schmidt thing, like I've seen Eric Kratz pitch twice, since September 20th or whatever it is, and like Clark Schmidt might be having a pseudo showing on Sunday. It could be just to eat those final innings to get through the year. If he looks good and the Yanks go to the DS, you might see him on the roster. And it's like, it's flip a mystery coin instead of like, okay, should we have seen more of this guy this year?
That if they have real thoughts of you, and I know that the Yankees like to hit buttons. If Clark Schmidt makes the playoff roster, I will be so mad, because why the fuck did you go sign Tyler Lyons and give him innings this series instead of using that to give Clark some innings to see what he's got as a reliever to help?
They wanted to stretch him out. That was the whole thing. When they initially had him piggyback with Davy Day, they wanted him to throw bullets and have this kind of storyline moment. And then they needed him to finish up that other game. So he pitched one inning or whatever. And then Clark Schmidt, their top prospect that they need to be taking care of his arm, they now, over a 2-week span, they gave him, no stamina when he'd been stretched out all year. So they sent him back down. They're building up his.
If he pitches in this game, he's on regular rest for Sunday. So you still.
Right, but it's stretching him back out. So they're waiting for the time, and they might want him as like a mystery piece with less tape out on him. I don't know. Again, get to the DS and make it a conversation. Pitch well Sunday, Clark, so it's a conversation. But Jim, he was their top prospect. He is their top prospect, and they called him up this year,
handled him,
and
is
they
ridiculous.
started the clock. So like. Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance if he pitches well on Sunday, which, I'm not saying that's a guarantee. Again, we got spoiled by Davey so far. But if he pitches well on Sunday and they go to the DS, I would bet you he's on that roster.
It's just a dumb strategy. You could have pitched him in the pros. You could have given him innings. I know it's button gang, but you're still at the point. You're where I used to be, where you're like, well, that's just what they do. So what's the point in being upset about it? I can't do that anymore.
Right. Because there's still odds it works. Like, I'm just saying, like, if the Yankees go and win the World Series this year,
they won't.
Like, people could get like what you're doing right now and be like, oh, JOMBOY, look at this. And you'd say, I don't give a shit. The Yankees just won the World Series. Like, I plan on feeling all the things you're feeling if and when it does fall apart. Because then it didn't work. Then it was a horrible.
That's like what I was saying last year when I was still half like, hey, it could work.
So you completely don't have the Yankees winning the World Series this year.
I don't have them making it to the CS.
Okay.
If they do, like you're saying, great. I'm a big dumb idiot.
Right.
But they're not going about things in a way that seems conducive to good results, especially if they have Clark as part of their postseason plan and they just have been throwing him in the alternative site while Kratz eats innings against a playoff team in the Blue Jays. Like, what? That is the dumbest plan I've ever heard, if that's the plan.
Yeah. And I mean, again, that would be 28th man on the roster spot. That's innings instead of, Nick Nelson or something like that. So I don't think it's that dramatic, but yeah.
Bad. Tyler Lyons is handsome.
Really handsome. That snuck up on me because we saw him. Did he have more of a nose before? Or I feel like something happened. Maybe he just had a really nice tan. I don't know what that was.
Me either. They brought him in. Same thing. They brought him in. He was on the lineup card. The ump said he wasn't because they're not. That was weird. All right. Well, let's go to game 4. Today's game.
Game 4.
On your mark. Get set. Burn, Jakey, burn.
A couple intimidating southpaws, Gumby Montgomery versus Thick Daddy Ryu in the second. Don't call me Junior. Vladdy Bomb makes it 1-0. Percocet. Double Boba 2-0 Jays. Gumby was solid. Hands it off to Otto, and oh no, Adams' House of Horrors in Buffalo continues. 2 RBI to Alejandro Kirky. 4-0 Jays. Am I celebrating the Jays now? Do the Yanks have a rally in their bones? Gio, one of the recurring names in this series, rips an RBI infield single. 4-1. And here comes the Kraken. It is high. It is far. It is caught. Kritchuk. That bleep into his glove. Yankees lose 4-1 and lose 3 out of 4 to the Jays.
Jays clinch. Jays love using replay on calls that can be clearly decided
Hilarious.
in lifetime.
Just look at them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the end, Montoya looked at them and he was like, what? Why did they just confirmed that call so quick? So it's clearly not Montoya. It's like their replay guys suck.
It's their guy. Yeah.
What a bad job.
Someone's genuinely getting yelled at for that currently. Probably tomorrow morning, if we're being honest.
Yeah, they're going to celebrate tonight because they clinched. Monty looked decent. I mean, he got in his own way. He can't field balls, but other than that, it was 5.1 innings pitched, 2 earned runs with 0 run support. I mean, if the Yankees plop 4 runs or 3 runs or 2 runs, no one cares about that. That's like a decent line from Monty, who we don't think is going to factor into the first round of the playoffs anyway. So it's not really much to discuss, but he struck out 8 over 5.1. Monty looked pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as Yankee fans, you can have an eye for Monty now in the first couple innings. Like if the curveball's there, that kind of opens things up for him, because even if his changeup's not good, if you're fearing the fastball and the curveball, the changeup ends up looking pretty good too. Got the strikeouts, and if the Yankees did hit at all, we're probably saying like, hey, good for Monty going out there. And yeah, it's a building block if potentially we do need him this October, or when we go back to the drawing board next year, Monty's still going to be a very big factor. So good for him bouncing back. And then Ryu looked really good, and I think, I don't know if it spoiled Yankees fans, but Ryu's a really good pitcher. I mean, one of the best pitchers in baseball. The Yankees have had some success against him the past couple times, and he tightened the screws, man. He looked good. In the game before that, the 14-1 loss, when you got Robbie Ray, AJ Cole, Ross Stripling, those are bad at bats. Like Ryu beat the Yankees today. He was pitching well.
That being said, Yankees haven't beat like a playoff pitcher all year besides Ryu.
Glass now.
Yeah, different glass now than they saw when
flip a coin. Which one are you getting?
If there's a pitcher out there where you're like, damn, he looks good today, Yankees have not beaten him. And
I think there's a lot of teams that could say that too.
Well, I don't know. The Twins beat Giolito, Bieber, and someone else in the last 3 series they had. There's another stud pitcher. Bauer, was it? I forget. And everyone's like, on good days when those guys were looking good. Yankees haven't beaten they haven't faced a lot of good pitchers, which is one problem. They haven't beaten any, really.
Yeah, it goes to some of the lineup stuff too. Go check out Sharp Stats with Katie. But yeah, I mean, you can't come in walking Bauer McGregor style about the Yankees.
What do you think about Otto? Is he going to get an award?
God, I don't know. A lot of guys could get a lot of awards. It's tough, man, because he had been looking better. His fastball his fastball got up to 97 tonight. Pumped someone with 97. And he'd been looking okay the last few starts, and then Short King Alejandro Kirk gets him on the slide piece. And yeah, I mean, we're just in this season sample size. There's no way we're going to feel confident with Otto early on in a playoff run.
Yeah. I think he faced 5 batters. He gave up 3 hits. So not the best math there. Yeah. All right. We got a lot of awards, a lot of individual things to discuss. But first, let me tell you about DraftKings and what they got going on, since they are the sponsor of the show. Week 2 of football is in the books. Now it's time to review the tape and get ready for week 3. There's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. To add to the excitement of week 3, DraftKings Sportsbook is bringing back their can't-miss offer. If you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook yet, head to the App Store now because you don't want to miss this. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new users the chance to turn $1 into $100 when they bet on any team. That's right. You can place a $1 bet on any team, and if that team wins, you cash a cool Benjamin. How could you pass that up? Don't worry if football isn't for you. DraftKings is giving all you MMA fans the same great offer to use for this weekend's UFC 253. DraftKings is safe, reliable, and secure, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOMBOY when you sign up to get this can't-miss offer. Pick any team during week 3, bet $1 on them, and win $100 if they win. That's $1 to win $100 when you use promo code JOMBOY during sign-up for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You must be 21 or older, New Jersey only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. The first award that we give out here on the show is
Pride of the Yankees.
Pride of the Yankees.
Pride of the Yankees.
Yeah.
Do I go first?
Jake goes first.
Nice. Congrats, Jake.
Thank you, Beavers. Thank you, Jommers. My pride of the Yankees, I normally double check the stats to make sure I'm not missing anyone. It's Gio Urshela for me. I know he had the hit streak going both sides of the ball defensively today. He had a couple whip jams. Yeah, man, I mean, Gio is just there, and it feels like, when we're talking about some of the current misses on the Yankees, like Gio, it always feels like he has his role. Like Gio's, the number one goal, play really good defense. After that, I'm going to give him some good at bats. I don't care if that's in the 6 hole. I don't care if that's in the 9 hole. Like I'm going to barrel it up and win the at bats. And he did that all series, man. So Gio clearly stood out from I mean, kind of any other Yankee. Like the second we started recording and I started thinking about who pride of the Yankees would be, I mean, that Cole guy's pretty nice, but Gio Urshela for me pretty easily.
Yeah, he's just consistent. He's like one of the few Yankees when healthy. Like if it's not both sides of the ball, it's one. He will consistently be a good part of the game. And most times it's both sides of the ball. It's offense and defense. But it's never like Gio wasn't a part of the good today. It's always there. And we've talked about this before, and I've said how much I like it, and I feel that way about him. Like, Voigt's there. Sometimes the defense is bad. DJ is usually the other guy. But I guess, those third base plays just feel more.
They stick out a little more.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a little bit spoiled Yankee fans. Urshela does go 9 for 15 this series with a 600 batting average, and I think he's got a 14-game hit streak. So he's genuinely been playing like a tier above what you should expect from a player, and it goes overlooked. Like we get caught up in the Voits, the Stantons, the monsters who mash. It was a graveyard bash. When Gio just does his thing and does it at an incredible level.
Yeah, very good pride, Jake.
Thank you.
My pride of the Yankees is going to Garrett Cole.
Yes.
He's the one difference maker on the team. Like you say, what's different this year going into the playoffs? Cole. I hope it works. I hope you know what we said about the Astros last year? You can't lose a Cole game. Or like if the Astros lose a Cole or a Verlander game, they're fucked. Yankees cannot lose a Cole game if they want to go on a deep stretch. Cannot. They have to be guaranteed wins. Make them beat you when Happ is on the bump, when Davies on the bump. You cannot lose a Cole game. So he is the one like X factor going in. Like at least I can pencil in a Cole start. And that should help the Yanks win game 1.
Yeah, and it's that's where the matchup comes really, really interesting because 2 of those AL Central teams are going to be saying that. I mean, the Indians have Bieber, who's going to win the Cy Young. If they come back up, still not looking likely. The White Sox have Giolito, who's their clear 1. And you kind of like that matchup. Like Cole's got him in experience and kind of talent as of right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how that sorts out. Twins, probably still the best team of the 3, don't really have that 1. Although Maeda's having a really nice year, but still kind of in a different class than the others. But yeah, man, I mean, Cole, that Cole playoff game is that's going to be something. That's going to be something.
He's my pride.
He's a good one. And I hope he continues to make us proud. And dude, sorry to the Talkin Yanks fans, I don't want you to think I was being my normal Jakey lazy bones, not giving some Geo stats. But if I may, Jimmy, this is excluding tonight, where he did he have a couple hits tonight? Gio was 2 for 4 tonight, so these stats all went up. Gio Urshela now in his past 2 years with the Yankees, 171 games, so more than a full season. He's hit .314 with a .362 on base and .892 OPS. So he's been about, after tonight, let's say he's been almost 40% better hitter than the rest of the league. And at third base, I mean, he's a wizard. And David Cohn, or I think it was actually Kaster, had the quote of the night that said, they were talking about outs above average and how Gio Urshela is rating well defensively this year. And Kaster said, yeah, the defensive stats are finally catching up to Urshela. Because a lot of people would phrase that the other way around. But Gio's been a stud, and that's why we used to yell at some of you geeks online. And we're sorry, but it's because we were right.
Well, and he's cleaned up the errors. Like he doesn't have an error this year. And it was the simple errors that were messing him up last year, not anything physical capabilities. So he cleaned that up. Now the stats are good.
Yep. Last year was his first time getting regular playing time since 2015 or something like that.
Yeah. Next, I'm talking Yanks.
You Yankee motherfucker.
You go first. I didn't even think about this.
Yeah, man, this is one of those MFers where there's a few options, huh? And it also gets tricky because it ties into the what does it mean category, right? Not mad at Tank at all. I'm not giving it to Otto. I think I'm going Gary, man. Gary's gotten a few and it bums me out. But we did the whole conversation before. And I think, you referenced the past 2 weeks and what have we been doing. And Gary started playing pretty well. I mean, we were butter knifing a little bit, but he had a good week of it. But that wasn't enough to lock it up. And now look at the situation we have on our hands. Like, hey, there's a world where this becomes a good thing. Higgy catches Cole. He looks great. Gary comes on the next day. He hits the homers. Whoa, Yankees have this two-headed catching competition. I love it. The way the Yankee season has been going, it doesn't feel like that's going to happen. And now Kyle Higashioka, who's a great dude. We met him. Awesome. But I mean, he's like a 30-year-old hoping to have a backup catching career in this league, who's now in a day-by-day battle with Gary. And Gary's stats landed at 0 for 9 this series. And again, you just wonder
He only played 2 games, right?
if any of those at-bats were to go differently. And he had the pinch hit out tonight, which, again, another fly ball to the track, which we'd be talking in a very different tune this whole episode. But, the BABIP numbers were coming out today, and the Gary haters are locked and loaded, and it's a tough one, but it's going to Gary for the whole sitch.
Tough. My motherfucker's Stanton. If he was looking good, things would be a lot easier. But he's not. Terrible numbers on the series. He had 1 hit in 12 at bats, only 1 walk. And again, we're not talking about good pitching here. Besides Ryu. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like Gary, he's just going to turn it on versus better pitching. I don't get the mindset. I think that's been clear. But Judge didn't play enough because he doesn't play.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Stan had the most amount of at-bats to have the most worst. Gary only played 2 games. Judge only played 2. Stan played 3. And he only got 1 hit. He didn't even get a lot of walks. And he had a lot of at-bats where me and my dad looked at each other and said, like, that was bad. Like, not even competitive at-bats. It's like 1, 2, 3, boom. Swinging at breaking stuff that's never starting in the zone. Bad. And, he's like a mind easer. He's like Cole. Remember how hot he was to start the season? Like, if you had that, Stan, you'd be like, all right. That's going to, that'll be nice in the playoffs against good pitching. But you don't have that at all, so. And everyone's slumping, so it's hard to single him out. I think Clint had it horrible. I think Clint was pretty bad, and he played
Clint
a
series
lot.
was bad too. I was eyeing
Gardner
Stanton.
Bunting through a 3-0 pitch.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my motherfucker. And I tweeted out, that is the perfect metaphor for the Yankees. Like, thinking you're going to pull a fast one and bunt the 3-0 pitch, and then not committing to it and bunting through the 3-0 fastball right down the middle and then popping up in the next at bat. I mean, if that doesn't sum up the Yankees mentality and how much they overthink things and think they're being so cute and sneaky and it's just like, don't rewrite baseball. Take the 3-0 pitch or swing at it. It just sums up the whole mindset, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Weird.
they're kind of not taking the regular season serious, and that play is the perfect note of it. And yeah, Jim, you mentioned Clint, but I mean, Clint did make some nice plays in the field, and that's where Stanton's sticks out a little more. I mean, he's locked in the DH spot. It's not, should we shift him somewhere else? He is locked in there. So when his at-bats do look like that, I thought about him as my MFer. I do think, Stanton, when his bad does look bad, and, a couple good swings this weekend, and I think we can be feeling a lot better about him. A couple bad swings, and I think we could be feeling a lot worse.
Yeah. All right. Regular old awards. Roa. You got one?
Roa. Yeah, I do, Jim. I do. My first regular old award goes to, well, It's the Mr. President Award.
Mm. Mm. Mr. President. President of the fan club. Chad Green.
Chad Green. No, it's going to Gleyber Torres.
Well, I was going to give him an award. Okay, so.
He, the defensive numbers are coming out around baseball, Jim. And they aren't good around Gleyber. We talked about it on the Sharp Stats episode a little bit. It's become apparent. We got a weekend series coming against the Marlins. So what does Gleyber try to do? Tries to get his jump man on. President or whatever Jeter's title is coming in, signature jump throw. Gleyber tries to copy it, and he actually did it. I was shocked. But hey, hopefully someone's getting in Gleyber's ear about that defense, because Jim, you and I have talked about this. We've talked about this a lot more on the air. If Gleyber Torres doesn't snap into shape very soon on shortstop, he's not going to be shortstop Gleyber Torres very long. So
you mean off the air? I feel like we've talked about that a lot, just texting conversations.
Yeah, that would define that.
You said on the air. I think you meant off the air.
I think I said off.
Mm-mm.
You certainly said on.
I meant off then. My apologies. So he makes the jump throw, which is nice, and over Urshela is kind of a nice play. Hey, Gleyber, again, a lot of what we're saying right now, like we hear Coney and Kay on the broadcast talk about, what was it? The 2000 team that limped into the playoffs and won it all, or the 99 team. If you limp in and then you look good in the playoffs, people will forget all the limping. It was a nice play. Try to build on it, because your defense at shortstop is very much below league average.
Yeah, I was going to give him the table it award, the table it, and it was just table this for the offseason, but Gleyber ain't long for shortstop. And I don't know how that plays into DJ, how that plays into Gleyber, how that plays into the Yankees offseason. It's a huge conversation in the offseason. I have it marked down as a big need is to upgrade the amount of people that can play shortstop and then the caliber of the backup shortstops. It's a bigger conversation. I want it on record that we're tabling it for the offseason.
Tabled.
Because it cannot be Gleyber starting and Wade as the backup. Like, that's cannot be the options in the 2021 spring training. So we'll see if they can do anything, but Gleyber can be the starter going in. What?
I think I agree with you, but I'm not sure what they'll bring in.
Me neither. Gleyber should be the starter, but you need someone that's really going to compete and maybe slide him over somewhere. If not, well, it'd be interesting. But yeah. All right, I'm getting a negative town, but I have to do this. It's the Don't Be a Hypocrite award. Goes to myself. This has been lingering, Jake. Every single thing I said about why the Twins would not win the playoffs last year goes against the Yankees this year. I can't be a hypocrite. They have the worst record of any team in the playoffs right now against good teams. They are the only team that has clinched that has a losing record against teams 500 or above. I said they haven't beat good pitching, and they don't bring it day in and day out. And I can't sit here telling everyone that's why the Twins aren't going to do good last year. And now all of those bullet points that I used against the Twins, that's why I'm scared of the Twins. That's why I'm scared of every team in the playoffs. The formula that I like for a team that wins in the postseason, the Yankees do not have. But they're the only team right now with a losing record against good teams.
Yeah. And I mean, the Rays kills that. Because it was 2-8 versus the Rays.
Yeah, but they're a good team. They only play two good teams.
No, I'm not saying it as an excuse, but I mean the the bad Yankees this year ran into those good Rays a lot, and that does shake the bear a lot. And the only thing that I
these
will say
10
is
games
different,
against Toronto.
because you're right, and I respect what you're saying. But again, that's where the Garrett Cole thing comes in, because when that was kind of a big part of the Twins formula. They didn't have the upper echelon starting pitcher and the back end of the bullpen too, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
So I think those are the two things you can note. But you're right, you are a big believer in that stat. I do think there's a little skew this year, and you could tie it to the small sample size a little bit. You'd like to think it would straighten out, but for what we've got, absolutely.
Yeah. I it's so weird because I believe in the pitching. I believe in the starting pitching the most out of all aspects of Yankees baseball. Isn't that bizarre? It's the one you would worry about the most. I'm very worried about the bullpen depth, and I'm very worried about the lineup versus a good pitcher.
Yeah.
And lineup construction, I think. I don't know how they're going to do it.
This the Marlins series will be interesting to watch, kind of like not actually interesting baseball, but kind of like just a tipsy uncle observing a family party. Like, didn't cousin Joe and Aunt Tina, didn't they fight last Thanksgiving? And now they're seeing each other again. What's going to happen? Are they going to mix up the lineup at all?
They
Who's going to come in out of the bullpen?
They have to play the same. Like Gary and Higgy, they told us they're going to rotate, but everyone else, it has to be the same, right? Like they can pull them early if they want, if they're winning and they want to get. Well, like I still think they have to start. Like Judge and Stan have to play all 3 games, Voit all 3, DJ all 3, Glaber all 3, Gio all 3, Hicks all 3, Clint all 3. Like they have to, right? Like I know I shouldn't get my hopes up that they do, but I'd still even be shocked if they don't. They have to, right?
No, just because I've seen too much. I've seen too much. You are right, and you'd like to think that they kind of treat it as like end the day on high notes. You know, the Sunday game, if Voit goes 2 for 2, you know, get him out of there. Let Kratz play first base. You hope you see some of that, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, guys need at bats, very much so. And Boone said that in the presser yesterday, but they had their Judge plan. They weren't going to break it, as hard as he was running on the bases trying to disprove them. But yeah, we'll see.
At minimum, I believe they've said Judge will play all 3, so that's something. It's also kind of should be obvious, but
it's not. That's the scary part, right? That
Yeah.
It's not obvious. It should be obvious that the playoff lineup. Now they already told us about the catcher rotating, but it should be obvious that they're going to start the other 8 guys that are going to be starting in the same lineup order that they plan on using in the playoff. It should be obvious. It's not. It's crazy.
It's no. It's no.
Who's up? You?
Next award?
Yeah, it's you, right?
Yeah, I can do that. Okay, my next award is going to be the Floppy Fish Award. Floppy Fish.
Floppy Fish goes to Adam Ottavino.
No, that would be a nice thing to give Adam at this point. This is just kind of a silly one. Lighten it up at the end. I'm giving it to Luke Voit. Almost every throw over to first, he ends up on the ground kind of flopping around a little bit. Like, I think sometimes it's the throw, sometimes it's him. And, you know, I know he's got the foot stuff going on, everything. But but like throws over to first from the pitcher, Gary throwing over to first, which again, a lot of these are other people's fault. But Voigt's flopping around first base a lot. And I mean, does part of me kind of like that? Yeah, we got the good yoga pick from the last series. But I don't know. Just a lot of Voigt playing in the sand.
Okay. Gary got baited by Vladdy pretty bad there.
Yeah. Does a good throw get him, do you think?
Who cares?
I care if the play's executed, right?
Gary should, you're getting your job taken from you. Like, it's first and third. Who cares what fat Vlad's doing on first base? Like, even if you get him, you probably shouldn't even be concerned.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if he does get him, we're saying, oh, that's Gary picking up his pitcher when he doesn't have his best stuff. I don't know. I think it's playing the result a little bit. Gary can't throw that ball away.
Yeah. When he threw the first time to Vlad, I was like, Gary, there's a runner on third. There's no need for this.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt playing the result when it wasn't bad. Just like, let's get the batter. If it was the pitcher constantly throwing over, I'd be like, let's get the batter. So be in the battle with the pitcher. Well, the Yankees don't hold anyone on anyway, so.
Yeah, they kind of get too lost in that, too.
Yeah. Yep. Voigt's good, though.
And he, I thought about giving a little, like, don't make me raise the eyebrow award to him, too, because his at-bats haven't looked as crispy. But just give us a couple good ones in this Miami series.
I'm going to give you will have so much of my heart award. Which I don't know if that's a good way to label it. Heart in your hands award.
So what's the final award again?
Be gentle award.
Okay, so now I'm hearing something different. Just in my left ear.
Heart in my hand award.
Heart in my hand award.
Heart in your hand award. Handful of heart. Handful of heart. Bloody hand award. The bloody hand award.
God. I think it's Tanaka. I don't know.
Oh, no. DJ. It's DJ LeMahieu.
Okay.
DJ is the leadoff batter.
Okay.
So he's going to be the first one that I hand my heart to when the game starts.
Okay.
And if we could just delay heartbreak after him, you're the first one. You got my heart. Like, get a hit. Imagine a leadoff hit. Imagine how much better that feels.
Yeah.
Going into like the rest of everything. Even a leadoff hit from DJ, that eases you for a little bit, for a long time. DJ's been great. Also, I want him to win the batting title.
Yeah.
But this is more about just being the leadoff hitter and one of the only reliable people. And the combination there, you got a lot of my heart in your hand. It's like I hand it to you. And then you either spike it or you delicately pass it to Judge behind you.
Right.
And I want him to win the batting title. And I wanted to try and be positive, and DJ's been really good, so I chose him.
Blood on your hand award?
What was the final award called?
I have that you landed on Bloody Hand award. I was gonna ask for my records.
Yeah, I think
what
Bloody
your final
hand.
name is.
Both hands.
Okay.
I don't want
Bloody
to with just one. That's risky.
Okay. Yeah. So I know what you're saying, which is good. And yeah, I do think come that first playoff game when we go through the gambit, especially for a team that likes to think they can flip buttons and flip switches, if that first at bat you see DJ LeMahieu slap one to right or do whatever he does, yeah, that makes everyone else feel like the switch is actually on. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. I have if you guys think I'm grumpy and just in a bad mood. Like, you don't even know the takes I held in.
Oh, I know.
I don't know if you know.
I seen it.
I think you're going to be shocked at this take.
Okay.
Chapman, maybe don't work on a brand new pitch in your second to last outing before the playoffs when you've only gotten 9 innings. Maybe don't throw the splitter that you're probably not throwing in the playoffs. It was like the only smiley moment in all of Yankees baseball. And I was sitting there like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Oh,
Now,
see,
it
I
worked.
disagree. I think it was only smiley for one person, and that was Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, the broadcast liked it. Some people on Twitter liked it. Like, are we throwing that in the playoffs? You haven't pitched a lot, man. If you got, how many innings does a closer usually have in there? 30 something innings, 40 innings. If you got that under your belt and you're like, I'm ready to go, but you haven't pitched in a long time. And now it looked good. He got 2 strikeouts with it, I think. Come on. That's just me being irrationally grumpy.
A little bit. I mean, we know Chapman's literal mindset. He told our guy Joe's McFly, like, the regular season is literally like does not matter to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a game away from the playoffs. He showed his third pitch for the first time. It looked good. He's happy. The other team has to scout it, and I mean, it was the ultimate symbol. I mean, down 3 runs to the Blue Jays in Buffalo to lose the third game of a 4-game set, and he's smiling off the mound because, hey, that was kind of fun. And that's where this team's at. They've put all their eggs in that playoff basket.
Yeah. We'll see how it works.
Tonight's game got him over 10 innings pitched on the year, so
that's good. Oh, I got really bad news during the show too, Jake.
Uh-oh.
Wikipedia changed my picture back.
No.
Yeah, the guy said it didn't take. It didn't stick. The old picture is back.
So someone at Wikipedia hates you.
No, I think it probably auto pulls from the first Google image.
I've still got you as the new pick.
You do?
Yeah.
I do too.
So look at that. Chat gotcha? Chat monster?
No, I mean, he's the same guy that notified that he did it for me. So what does this Wikipedia say? Sold the rights to the video for $4,000. Who wrote all this? Hey, you're in here. Jake Storielli.
Bang.
With his longtime friend. That was nice of them.
What did it say? Jake Storielli was seen by his mom walking into bed with 3 beers once?
No, but my mom told that story like yesterday. It's Katie's sister. It says he also started a baseball podcast in July of 2019 with his longtime friend Jake Storielli and has been recently joined by former Major League Baseball player Trevor Plouffe.
Look at that.
Who writes all this stuff?
Wish I helped with the Talkin Yanks stuff.
I don't even know if they have that in here. Yeah, they do. No, you're not part of that according to Wikipedia.
Fair. Man, is that a different sign of times? What was that, like 8-9 years ago? I was going to bed with 3 bedtime beers. Now that would put me to bed.
Used to be your move.
Yeah.
Andrew J. Chapin gets a shout out in my Wikipedia.
Hot.
It's crazy. Yeah, man. So anyone doesn't know the story, Jake, and when he was younger, Jake used to, whenever you were done drinking, you would take beers to bed with you, and then you'd chug like 2 more, then fall asleep.
Bedtime beers.
And you were searching for a bed in my house, and you went into my sister's bed because she wasn't there. She was at college, and you didn't know my mom sleeps in there because my dad snores.
Yeah.
So he walked into the bedroom with hands full of beers, turned on the light, and my mom was sleeping in bed.
Yeah. We've got a few of those.
It's a fucked up move.
Yeah.
They proceeded.
Well, what happened next was, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
It's just come on now. It's bad. What's the schedule here? This is Thursday. We got a game Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Sunday night we'll be doing our last recap, and then Monday we're going to record a little playoff preview type thing.
I guess that's a plan. Yeah.
Who is it looking like they're going to face?
I mean, as of right now, I think the Twins technically have the advantage. I think Cleveland won again, right?
Right now it has us facing the White Sox.
I believe the White Sox already lost today, if I'm remembering what the standings were this morning.
Yeah, So Cleveland is a game back of the White Sox. I do not know who has that tiebreaker. But the Twins are a game up on the White Sox, but the White Sox have the tiebreaker on the Twins. So it's still kind of wide open. Gun to your head. If just thinking about it, who would you most want to play out of those three?
Twins.
I think I'm White Sox.
Their lineup bangs.
Their lineup bangs, but it has slowed down a lot. And I think Cole can take on Giolito. Keuchel, you try to survive with Tank, and then they kind of don't have a 3-starter,
Yeah, but I mean, Twins, dude, I do think the stigma of Yankees Twins is like their best ally.
We might need that, yeah.
Like the Twins players getting down early in game one and then fearing the quote unquote dumb ghosts, like, oh shit, this is happening again. I think it goes Cole, back end bullpen, stigma, scaries, rest of the bullpen lineup in
you win Cole Day
and you're good.
It's 2-0 in the fourth inning the next day with Tanaka on the bump, and you're like, wait, this is really how it ends? That's the Yankees' best chance.
I think mentally the Twins will get down before any other. I don't believe in the jinx.
Right.
I'm scared of the Twins.
Yeah, they're good.
But I do think they are also more scared of the Yankees. And if it does we win Cole game and then you take a lead, they may mentally quit.
Right.
I do believe that. I'm not trying to knock the Twins' skill. I'm just saying it's like a slight benefit the Yanks have.
It's through everything that's happened this year, how have we possibly found ourselves in this situation?
Yes. The White Sox scare me. Cleveland's
the team I'd least want to play
in a 3-game set. Like, I think we're fine if you were to find Cleveland in a 5-game set.
I mean, the thing that we've said has changed is Garrett Cole, and Bieber not only eliminates that, but makes them like the favorite in that game.
Yeah, I don't want, but yeah. So I for me it goes Twins, White Sox, Cleveland. And then I see us Keuchel. I see Keuchel. Like I'm more scared of Keuchel than Giolito with the Sox for my own weird stigmas.
Yeah, no, same. And I think that that Keuchel Tanaka game, I mean, that's essentially lock the doors, just get out of here.
Demons may come out. Good and bad.
Pants off, 3 beers. I'm gonna enjoy this. BBD? I see you thinking. I don't know if it's the scene I just set up or
I was just for Jess's benefit. We'll be at the office for those games, so she doesn't have to worry about that.
So I guess
it'll be get her own live stream.
It'll be for
and
your
it's Twins.
Yeah.
I just don't see a way the Twins. I don't see a way the Yankees. I'm not saying it.
All right. I like it. Good take.
If they don't play the same 8 guys, if Judge or Stanton has a day off tomorrow or Saturday, or Sunday,
would you Would you allow a Voit day off if they said, "Hey, foot stuff, we want to give him 1 day off his feet"?
Yeah, do it game one.
Right. Okay.
But that would be a real weird fucking time for them to be like, the foot stuff's coming up because he's been
Right.
limping for a month straight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got.
I don't get how Voit can be in the lineup through all of this, but Judge gets the day off here.
I mean, if we're being honest, they treat some people like they're special assets and they treat others like they're not.
Yeah, I wonder if that flips because Voigt's the most special asset they have that's still on the team next year.
Yeah.
This
I
year.
don't think that's how they view it.
I know, but this year he's been the biggest asset on the field besides DJ, but DJ might not be on the team next year. The other news, if you missed it, what?
Gio sneaking up there in WAR, by the way, clicked on his numbers. Like his year looks really damn good.
He's awesome. The other news that we missed that is a longer conversation, maybe voicemails we're not doing those, is that Cashman said that he wants Boone to be around for another 7 years. So expect them to pick up Boone's option and then probably extend him for like 5 years deal or some shit like that. Why would you publicly say that if you don't have Cashman didn't have to say that, so he does. So it should just probably be an extension soon.
Yeah, I think it's a little sign of showmanship too. I think you could say, yeah, I wanted him for 10 years, but I also wanted to win a title in the next 2. I think he could back out of that if he wanted.
Yeah, but he didn't even have to say it. Like he was asked about DJ and Tanaka. And
Cashman's a weird talker now.
I think he's brutally honest.
Except when he starts going weirdo town.
Yeah, if he does a metaphor, that just means he's not going to give you the answer, and he's not being dishonest, but he's just not being brutally honest. But if he actually gives you an answer, I think it's brutal honesty.
Yeah, I think he wants Boone there for 10 years, and he wants to win 4 titles. But
yeah, well, see, I mean, they asked about free agency, and he was like, "Well, we got to figure out how much money we can spend first, and they haven't told us that yet." And a playoff run probably helps the Yankees' bank account. Like, honestly, if they have an early exit, well, they're not even hosting games. Well, if they have an early exit, Jake, they don't get broadcasting shares and stuff. I mean, I do think that affects the free agency a little bit because we've been told that the Yankees got hamstrung, and they also, these playoffs are the biggest way to balance out the books after a year of not having any gate. So the Yankees, if they don't get a chunk of money back and they only go 3 and out, 2 and out, that may fuck with the free agency.
Teased it a few times, Jim. People aren't ready to talk about the offseason. And luckily we don't have to for at least a week, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll see you later. Jake and I both got haircuts today, so if you need one, get one as well. Go Yanks.
Tighten it up.
Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.
Let's go Yankees! Let's go Yankees! Let's go Yankees! Let's go Yankees!
Too easy to get old takes exposed with what I wanted to say, but I'll say it to the patrons. I just don't see a way they could lose to the Twins in the Cole game. Like, and then once you do that, like, yeah, it's like the Yankees Twins thing, like in Minnesota, it is very much a present, like, mental thing there that, like, big bad Yankees, and they just don't have a matchup for Cole.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Jarv says, well done in a tough spot. Thank you. Where are you in your apartment, Jake? Bedroom?
No, where I sit all day.
Maybe your haircut made it seem different.
Kitchen table. Move the light a little bit.
In my brain, you usually where the chair would go to your left is where you usually sit. But I don't know why my brain's telling me that.
All right. Yeah,
I'm getting a haircut tomorrow too.
over there.
You are, BBD?
Yeah, I didn't know you guys were also getting haircuts. Maybe I would have not, but
Playoffs.
playoffs.
Did I do mustache for the playoffs? Or where's the Yankees record while I had a mustache?
Ooh.
Is that when they
I
started?
think you need to just catch COVID again.
I wish I could. No off days, terrible for other teams' bullpen. No way they have as many lights out relievers. Well, we did that with Katie Sharp, and she said there was other teams had more better pitchers in the bullpen, which was kind of eye opening. I don't know the true numbers or names there, but
Yeah. It's
I think
a lot
that
of
was
names
like
and
the
sample size, but
that was like top to bottom bullpen stuff.
no, it was how many guys do they have?
Oh yeah, it was the top. It was the number of guys above average or whatever.
Yeah, and the Yankees
or significantly above average.
The Yankees lacked, and like Lasagna and Sessa counted.
Yeah,
but Chapman didn't.
So trade him for Lasagna. There you go. But that's
Yeah,
still
but
they still
they've
don't
still
have
got
it.
they
the
still
elite
lost
back-end
one
guys
since
that
then.
some teams don't have, but they don't have the fifth and sixth man that you'd hope for.
Yeah.
Prove us wrong, Sessa.
Who do you think is that guy? The Yankees are up 5-0, and they have to get the 8th and 9th inning, and it's
Series 1 in the first 2 series, it's still going to be the A guys.
I agree with you with the first series. You can't burn out the bullpen in the DS when you can't. That's what they did last year. They used every pitcher every DS game, and then they all were burnt out.
I still think in a 5-game set they do that.
But that's what they did last year, and they burnt them out.
Right, but it was 162 in a long year.
I mean, that is a good point. But it is about days in a row, I think.
I think it
That's
really
what
becomes
said.
a thing.
Can't use the bullpen every day.
It becomes a thing in the 7-game set.
I think if you don't.
The part that really sucks is, I'll tell you the part that sucks. It's a game 3 or 4, and the Yankees are down 2 runs. And then we're having flashbacks, because then it is Sessa Holder.
Well, that's why I don't think you can. Like down 2 runs, you have to use the top guys.
See, that's where I think I disagree. I think
up
they're going
5. You then try to use Holder to get that 8th inning up 5. Go
I think
batter
you
by
secure
batter.
wins. You can't let the other team get back in the game there.
You got some wiggle room. I mean, I'd rather Holder let a game go to 5-2. Yankees are still winning than go from down 2 to down 4. If he's got to give up 2 runs to get 3 outs, I'd much rather it where
it's an interesting case, but I don't think we've seen the Yankees operate that way.
No, not at all. I don't agree with the way the Yankees operate.
I think in a 5-game set and it's a 5-0 lead, I think you're going to want to see Britt and Chad out there than Holder.
Well, because that's because our sub tier is bad. If Canley's there, Otto goes to that position, and I wanted Sessa or Lasagna at this point to be much more reliable. That's why I'm so worried, because they don't have that second tier that, we said all season, get Lasagna to that point, get Sessa to that point. And they didn't. No one got to that point. They've been auditioning for 3 weeks. And that's why I said like another week where all of our auditioners didn't pass.
And it's also, but then that just turns into only October matters. Like if Lasagna was lights out this regular season and then he shit the bed in his first 2 postseason games, we would say, well, Johnny Lasagna wasn't it, huh? Where Johnny Lasagna
but I mean,
up and down this year.
If he got to that point, then it makes that up 5-0 decision much easier. Oh, Laza's been lights out and he's our 5th guy.
Yeah, but it's still a really small sample size. It's still, I mean, we just talked about Chapman crossing the 10-inning mark this year. Like, it's not a ton of baseball. If Johnny Lasagna gets hot, you know,
What do you mean
That'll be a
gets out?
nice-
He's gonna have one more outing.
I'm saying in the playoffs, literally in the playoffs.
But my point is, I wanted to have a guy that we trusted, so that when I present to you up 5-0, do you go to Laza? The thought process isn't no, we have to secure that win by using our top guys, because I do agree with you. That's what the Yankees are going to do. And since there's no trust in Sessa, Laza, because in the small sample size they didn't get to where we needed them to get, we are now going to burn out our top tier pitchers again, which was a big thing that I said from the start of the season.
Right, but it's almost an impossibility because, I mean, Loizaga, up until last appearance, had a 2.7 ERA and was having a really good year. And then he has one bad appearance against Toronto, and then we still feel like he's Johnny Lasagna. Like, these guys that we already have images in our heads, I don't think they could shake them this year unless they were, like, different.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think the Lazas didn't get high pressure. Like, I think it's the high. I wanted them to give him high pressure spots throughout the season.
Yeah.
And they just
and then
gave
that just starts tying into the whole other. They haven't been doing a lot of that with anyone.
Which is what I'm saying. That's what I'm upset about. They didn't prep to get a guy to the spot where we are comfortable with him in the playoffs.
I would guess if they're up 5 in this hypothetical, like, even though there's not a guy we're like comfortable going to that isn't one of the big guys, they probably still try one of those other guys. If it gets close, they have Chapman ready to go, but at least then they can get like not having to use Britton or Chad that day. They skipped one of them. They'll still have to use them, but
I'd hope they do something like that and not. And, you know, last year they used every guy in every DS game. And by the ALCS, they all gave up runs.
Yeah. I mean, their dream series is they win game 1 and 2 using the good guys. They basically punt game 3, and then they win game 4 if they get to the DS. Like, that's genuinely their dream.
Probably, yeah. All right.
Because if you skip them game 3, then technically they're available for 4 and 5.
We'll see.
It's going to be a weird. Hey, I hope we get to have that conversation.
I still think they might win the first 3 games.
It's going to be crazy. It's 3 baseball games.
I think you know, if Tanaka, Cole, Britton, Chad, like, I think, you know, I have faith that those 5 can hold the other team where the Yankees only need to score 3. Because that's what I think they'll need to do in this opening series, depending on the pitchers. But for those 2 games, I think that, you know, our top 3 bullpen, Chad, Britton, Chapman, and then our 2 starters can do that.
Hey, maybe wild card Davey for the first series too.
Yeah. But once you start having to win 3 and then you have to win 4 out of 7, that's where you get really nervous, because those 5 pitchers can't throw every single game. All right. See how it shakes out against Miami.
Drunk tipsy uncle mode.